February 10th, 1983. This is Joe Todd interview with Rudolph Baisch. B-A-I-S-C-H.
Right.
Mr. Baisch, where were you born?
Mississippi, Russia.
How you spell that?
That beats me.
Mississippi?
Mississippi. That's as close as I can get. That's what.
And when's your birthday?
1909. November 9.
November 9th, 1909. Mm-hmm. Who was your father?
Christian Baisch.
And he was from Russia, right?
I bet you.
And who was your mother?
Louise Baisch. Louise.
Louise. And again from Russia.
From Russia.
Do you remember anything about Russia?
Not
How old were you when you came over?
about 4.
Or you came here about 1912?
About 1913.
1913.
Mm-hmm.
You
The
know,
only thing I noticed what they told me, what all happened over there.
yeah. No, that's when the Titanic sunk.
Yeah.
That would have been a good ship to be on.
Yeah, and see, in 1914's where the boys had to, that is where World War I.
Mm-hmm. How come your folks came to this country?
By golly, Dad, he always had to go to the war. He went twice, and they called him again, and he just didn't like it. So he had a chance to get out. And boy, I mean, we just sacked up, and there's where a bunch of them left, you know. And we got a chance to get on the ship, and we took off.
What ship you come over on?
Now, I sure, he never did say anything about that.
Did your parents ever talk about life in Russia? What it was like over there?
Not very much.
Mm-hmm.
I know all he kind of talked about, he was pretty well off. He had a big vineyard over there, and we're working the vineyard. And always he said they didn't have much water over there, and so he just dug a big cistern, and we drank wine. And he drank wine till he died too. He was 102 years old when he died.
102.
Right. Never did learn how to talk English.
You live around this area?
Lived here for about 60 years.
When they moved here, they moved to Bessie. You know where Bessie is?
Yeah, moved to Bessie. When did your father pass away?
When did he pass? It's been quite a while. Let's see. He passed away a little bit before Ruby did, didn't she?
It's been, was it between 15 and 20 years since he died?
Yeah, about around that.
Yeah, okay. Your parents talk about the trip in the boat?
Oh yeah.
What was the trip like? What happened on the boat?
Boy, it was rough. It was sure rough.
What did they say about it?
Boy, they said we was treated like working animals.
How come?
I don't know why, but they were rough back there. I know all that they always try to keep us down in the bottom. And I know every once in a while they said me and my next brother, we'd get out on the deck and we'd run around, you know. And you know, back there they used to have them big holes, you know. And we'd lay down there and watch them big fish, you know, jump up, you know. We always wanted to grab them. And boy, I mean, the captain got us, and I mean, he really laid it to us. And he made us go back down there, and he wouldn't hardly let us come back out. And we had to change ships 3 times, and every time we changed ships, they'd give us a shot, you know. Doggone it, the luck, it hurt me always so bad. In the third one, they give me, I kind of stood back until I got room and I start running. Boy, he caught me like that, and I guess he broke his. Boy, I got big scars here, and I went. Now here I could go any place. Never did catch nothing. Just boy, I went to the CC camp, you know, and they give a shot. And they says, you don't need any. I told them, no. I says, I'd go any place when the boys, my neighbor, the boys would get sick or something, get typhoid or smallpox or something like that. He says, just go on and play with them. Never.
Tell a time about the soup.
Oh yeah, when we'd get, it was so bad on that ship, by golly. When we'd get soup, we got a lot of soup. Boy, back there it was so bad, we just, lice would be swimming around in the soup. We just ditch them out. Boy, we was glad to get it. It was rough, I'll tell you.
Where'd you get on the ship? What town?
That's one thing he never did. He never did speak much of that.
Did he tell you where you changed ships?
No, never did say nothing. I know only thing, where we cut back over here, we run out of money where we got to Canada, and he had a sister. They were twins, and we stayed there till we found a place here in Bessie, and then he gave us enough money to come down here. I really had it rough where I grew up. Where I was 2 years old, I had to have an operation, and they took 3 feet of my intestines out of me. And boy, I mean, I stayed there, and boy, it was rough in there. I mean, I run over there. They said I sure give them nurses and everything. Like, he said the doctor would give me his watch. I'd play with it a little bit, and I'd just throw it down the way I'd go. And then when I got home, where they left me home, our neighbor got him a car. And I never seen him. Only known that I thought it was the ambulance coming to get me back to go in the hospital again. Oh, I mean, I ran in the house. I was going to hide, so they couldn't find me. So out there, they just had big brick stove, you know, that's made out of brick. I run around, pretty soon I didn't find nothing, so I just opened the oven door on the stove. I crawled in there. So my mama, she was out there milking. Here I come out, it was early in the morning, and I got up, and I just had a big gown on, you know. Boy, I was afire. I was running. And if she'd have took the bucket of milk and poured it on me, you know, that'd have been pretty good. But she just come and run and throwed her apron around me, you know, and just squeezed all that fire in me, you know. My back here, it's just like an ocean wave. I got back there, they always call it wild meat, you know. And back I went to the hospital. And they said that they cut that wild meat, they said just like 2 hands, they'd cut it off me, you know. And where she throwed that apron around me, it hurt me so bad. As high as I could reach, I bit her. Oh, yeah, that scar stayed there for, I mean, I took a hunk out of her. And then when we cut back here, I'd always have operations. And one old doctor says, No, they couldn't. They couldn't do that out there. They weren't smart enough for that. And an old doctor here, Rogers, he told him about it. He says, "Oh gosh," he says, "back there was a lot better doctors out there than we was here. They was equipped back there." He said, "Gosh, yeah."
In Russia, did your father fight in World War One?
Yeah.
No,
No, not.
because he came over
No,
before.
Oh,
Came
That
over like
was-
in 1913.
what
Were,
war
were
was it?
they fighting then?
Yeah, they were fighting.
Yeah.
They were.
When you came
I
over.
forget what in the dickens they were
Was
fighting.
he in the Russo-Japanese War?
Something like that.
No, there was a big war in 1903
Well,
between
there's,
Russia and Japan.
well, there's something. I know he was in there 3 times, and then when he got called in there for the 4th time, that he got a chance to get out, so he just loaded us up. Way he said we had a, he was pretty well to do. He had a great big vineyard, grape vineyard, and we couldn't get it sold, so he just took what he could get, so we'd get out of it.
Mm-hmm. Then the
Yeah, he
revolution came along in, I guess, 1917.
Well, then we come here, and then World War One broke out here in 1914, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because I had some cousins, they had to go.
Mhm.
I can remember that.
Yeah. Did your father ever talk about the Tsar?
No, not much. He didn't. He wasn't much of it. He didn't like the way he was treated out there, the way they treated him.
Yeah.
I know they said they really treated him rough.
Okay, did you go to Canada first when you came here?
Mm-hmm. There's where we got to. There's where his twin sister was.
And then when did he come down to Bessie?
It must have been. I guess we was there maybe a couple of 2-3 months.
Mhm.
Just as soon as we could find out that he could get some money, so we could move down here.
Yeah. How come he decided to come to Bessie?
I'll be doggone for that. That's a mystery to me too.
What kind of house did you live in when you first came down here?
Oh golly, it was rough. It was a barn. We had manger where the cows ate out of. Let me tell you. Let's see. We moved around about 3-4 times. And then finally, Dad went to work on the railroad. And they kind of loaned him some money. And we built us a house. He was her old man was a carpenter, and we got him, and he done a lot of our work. I just forget when it was. I think we just moved in our house around 1940.
What's your first memories of Bessie?
Well, the first memories of where I first got out of it, I had it kind of rough, I couldn't speak American. And the kids would always make fun of me when I'd go to school. And then when I'd go in, my teacher, they didn't like Germans. So when I'd go in there, she'd try to make me speak English, and I couldn't. And then she thought I was cussing, I can remember that good. And boy, she told me to stick out my hands, and I'd stick out my hands, and she'd take a ruler, and I mean, she'd really whip me. And then by golly, she'd send me upstairs. Her husband was what do you call him now? Principal. And boy, I mean, then he'd whip me. And that just went on, and she wouldn't try to learn me or nothing. I'd always have to stand in the corner. And then when I wouldn't do too good and everything, they'd go and tell my dad about it. Boy, I mean, I'd get it there. And every chance I'd get, I'd run off. And my brother, he'd always go trapping, and he'd catch possums and skunks, you know. Every chance I'd get, I'd go along, and if they'd give me the dope, you know, and then I'd go to school, well, then she'd make me go home. Then I had it so darn rough where I was small, I didn't never get no schooling. I got about, I'd say 2 months out of the year. I was kind of a slave where I come here because we didn't have nothing, you know, didn't have much. And there was such a darn big family of us. There was just 13 of us. And we couldn't make ends meet, so he'd always hire me out to people, you know. And then they'd keep me till the winter'd come in where there wasn't much to do, and then they'd send me home. And, well, you know, I couldn't get nothing out of that schooling because I didn't know what was what. And she wanted me to catch up, and then they didn't try. There was just one teacher. She sure was good. She tried everything in the world. She said, I'm going to try everything. She'd keep me there after school, and she'd stay with me. I tried, doggone it. They just wouldn't come. Always, when we'd have a arithmetic, I was pretty good. I kind of, and then when my spelling come, I'd memorize it. I wouldn't know if the teacher told me to write cat down there. Well, if dog had come first, I just spelled that. You know, I just could memorize, you know, but I wouldn't know the. And then a lot of times, I'd always look over to the girl that's sitting in front of me, and I'd copy it off, but I wouldn't know. Now it was rough.
Mm-hmm.
And then heck, you know, like when we come here, Dad would rent about 100 acres of cotton, and then he'd work on the railroad. Well, we'd have to stay there till about around Christmas sometime, you know, get that cotton out.
Do you remember the trip from Canada down here?
No.
Did you come by wagon?
Well, I imagine we'd have to, yeah.
Or train.
Because,
Yeah.
or a train or something like that. But I imagine he'd give us a wagon.
Mm-hmm. You
I
say
know.
your father started working for the railroad?
Mm-hmm.
What did he do for him?
Huh?
What did he do for the railroad?
He just worked there to keep the, you know, way back there, they just have to keep the grass cleaned up, you know, and put ties when they'd rot off. And so just like that there.
What did your father do in Russia besides be drafted?
Well,
Had the great
just
vineyard.
that grape.
Just the
vineyard.
grape vineyards.
Mhm.
Okay. How long did your father work for the railroad?
Oh, he worked there a long time. He was just kind of a little bit awkward and stuff, you know, and he couldn't get along, couldn't associate with the boss and stuff. He'd get his finger cut off, his toes cut off, you know. They'd always have to carry them long ties, you know, the railroad, and they'd slip, you know, and then he couldn't get out of the way. And they finally had to lay him off. He just couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So then he just picked up wherever he could find something.
What kind of house did you live in after you built one?
It was a nice big one. It was an 8-room house.
Oh, a 13.
It had to be. And then where we'd all have to kind of sleep together and everything. And like with me and my brother, well, when the cotton would be out, then we didn't have no gas or no electricity like that. We'd have to go out and saw wood, to last us during the winter.
You chop cotton?
Oh, golly.
How do you chop cotton?
Oh, Lord. You just get a hoe, and back there, it ain't like back there we had to thin it, Well, we just have to leave it. Dad would try to make it, leave it about from 12 to 14 inches apart, And it wasn't supposed to be over 2 stalks. We had to pull the rest of it out. It ain't like now, the thicker you sew it now, the better off it is. But boy, it had to be just so.
How much cotton could you pick in a day?
I was good at that. I got around, where I got up, pretty good size, I'd get around 300. And where I got bigger, where they went to snapping it, I'd snap 1,000 pounds.
What was the price of cotton at that time?
Well, we'd get around, let's see, what was it? 4 cents, we got 4 cents a pound when it was gin. And we would get, see, what did we get? I think it was 50 or 75 cents a hundred.
Did your father ever pick up a claim, a farm?
Never did.
Never did.
Never.
Do you remember when the U.S. went in the war, 1917, 1918?
Here?
Yeah.
When America went to war.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
How many people around Bessie went to the war?
Well, there wasn't too many of them, but out in the country, all the boys all the ones that was big, old enough, they had to go.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like my cousins, 2 of them had to go there, and there was several of them had to go because that was kind of Bessie at that time got kind of a German settlement, They come from Russia.
I was going to ask.
Germany, and we was putting it all Germans around there. We just about all the old generation was Dad's age and kind of younger and older. Well, I don't know what made it. We just kind of settled there. And then Cordell, well, they were just different. They was putting it all American people. Well, they really didn't like us. We had a heck of a time getting them.
Was there much of a pro-German sentiment around Bessie during the First World War?
What do you mean?
I mean, for Germany as opposed to U.S. in the war?
No, they never did say nothing about it. They never said nothing. They hated to go, but
well, nobody really wanted to go.
They wanted to kind of fight for United States. But there was a lot of them, they had it against us, and there was several of them that tarred and feathered them. Oh, that was rough, boy.
How do you tar and feather a person?
Boy, I'll tell you, it's miserable.
How do they do it?
They got tar, real hot tar, rubbed it over his body, all over him, and stuck feathers, chicken feathers and stuff, stuck it in him, and drug him behind the wagon. There was anyhow, the man out there in Breathwaite, they really worked him over. They down there killed him. They left him for dead.
How come they did that?
Just didn't like him. They didn't like him.
I remember in reading history that back at that, and a lot of them, because of fighting Germany, and because they were German people that was the reason for
I
doing
guess
it.
just like the Japanese in World War II, they put them in the concentration camps.
Yeah. And he had a grocery store, and I guess, and he had a pretty good sized family too. And I guess they wanted some on the credit, you know, he couldn't do it. Oh, I'll tell you back there where we first come over, it was rough to get by.
Well, how'd y'all make it?
Oh boy, it was rough. I went to bed many nights, hungry a lot.
Now, whenever your father, I guess, just rented you out to someone else, what'd you do for him?
Oh, I done just a little of everything. I mean, I got up at daylight, and he had about 12 milk cows. I'd have to first go up where he had a lot of land. He was rich, you know.
What was his name?
Bill Borcher. And he had a lot of land. And he had, I guess, around about 40 head of horses and a bunch of cows, you know. And I'd have to go get them horses, and then I'd have to go get the cows. And then I'd have to, that's him and his wife and me would milk. And then I'd have to separate. And then we'd eat, and then I'd have to go out, and he'd help me harness them. And then I'd have to go out and hair and stuff like that. Well, they put in that highway there, you know. He got a job on there. He had 2 great big mules. He got them from, I forget where they had him shipped in. Boy, I mean, they was big. And I wasn't too darn old then yet. He got a job with a prisoner, you know. We'd have to get dirt and dump it up there. And I'd get so tired I couldn't make it. I'd just lay down, and they'd drag me up there. I'd get up there, and I'd just barely dump it, you know. Oh, that went on for months and months.
Now, whenever you were leased out, did you stay with the family, or did you stay at the house, at your house?
No, I stayed with him. He slept in one room, and she slept in the other one, and I slept with him. And then he got so very much, and then he got another boy out of what do you call it now, out of an orphan's home. Boy, he was a booger. So we all 3 slept in one bed. Boy, he got mean. Every time he'd leave, he was, all the Dutchmen around there, you know, German people, they'd all put there to keep wine a year round. When they'd leave, he'd get me, and we'd go down there and boy, we'd really get on the bed. And boy, when he'd come home, I mean, he'd get him, he'd tie him up, raise him up like that. He'd have me to stand there and watch him. Boy, I mean, he'd whip him. Golly.
How come?
Well, drinking. Drinking too much. Then I'd run off. Dad'd put me in a buggy, put me back. I'd get a whipping out there. He'd put me back in, and I'd get a whipping out there. Boy, it was, one night the old boy, he whipped him so much, and he got so mad. And he waited till he got asleep. I couldn't sleep. I know about what he's going to do. He got a butcher knife, and boy, he darn near got the old man. And boy, did he whip him. Then we went to sleep, and then he got up and run off. Never did find him.
What'd you do on Armistice Day, when World War I ended? Was there a big celebration in Bessie?
Oh yeah, they really had a big band and stuff. Yeah, they really used to have a good band too. Yeah, they really had a good celebration. They were really glad it was over with.
Yeah, stop the tar and feathering.
Boy.
What, the German boys that went
Yeah.
overseas?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They always thought, you know, that we was for Germany.
Yeah, for the Kaiser.
Yeah, and we never was.
Yeah.
Because Russia and Germany never did get along too good together anyway.
What'd you do in the 20s?
Oh, God. I done a little, just everything I could. I got in the CC camp. I worked on the highway. Boy, I had done that everything I could get a hold of.
Did you work for WPA in the 30s?
Yeah.
What'd you do for them?
Well, we'd always we'd make them outdoor toilets, you know. We made them, if you might have known them, we made them big outfits where we could sit, you know, just made toilet stools.
Yeah.
And that's what I mostly made, and a lot of times I'd help them build the toilet, build it. You know.
How much money were you making with WPA?
If I'm not mistaken, we got $1 a day or $1.50. And me and my brother, we'd always get out and dig cisterns where we'd get $1 a day.
That was in addition to your WPA work.
Mm-hmm.
When did you start working for WPA?
Where they first started out, I couldn't get on for a long time. I just couldn't get on. But finally, they left me get on. I didn't get to work for that long.
What did you do with CCC?
I went out there and I drove truck. And then I got off of the truck, and then I was a mechanic's helper. I got $35 a month. The other ones just got 30.
What were you doing with CCC? What kind of things were you building?
We built roads, and we was down at Lindsay, Granite down there with that big, they had a big dam there, you know. And we rocked the walls.
Yeah. You ever work in that big granite quarry in Granite? They cut that big granite rock out.
Mm-hmm. We just go out the mountains, you know, get the rocks out, and make roads, you know. And then I stayed in there for seven months, and then I transferred. They had one here in Clinton, and I went here, and we grassed, we planted grass, you know, and made them shelters. But I just stayed 2 months now. I wanted to go, I wanted to do something else.
What were the dust storms like around here?
Oh, they were boogers.
What's a dust storm like?
Oh, God, it'll just kind of, you can just hear it, you know, just roll up. Boy, that dirt will hit you in the face. Golly, it hurt.
How'd you breathe?
Well, we just put the handkerchiefs over her face.
You ever get lost in a dust storm?
No. We always kind of, we kind of watched them. We could kind of know when it was coming and stuff, you know. We all kind of stayed at home.
How'd you keep the dust out of the house?
Oh, God. We darn near have to scoop that out. Oh, boy, that is sifted now. We put sacks and everything up over the windows, you know, and stuff like that to keep it out.
What about tornadoes down here?
No, we were just fortunate.
What about floods?
Well, we had a bunch of them. Yeah, it'd wash up all that. That old bogey creek, you know, down on the wall, she'd get on a rampage, wash out the railroad. She'd get over 2-3 miles wide. Then it'd come up right about a mile to Bessie.
What were you doing when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor?
Man, there was a lot of crime and stuff going on. We just had to take it.
What'd you do during World War II?
Well, I was ready to go. I was in A1. By golly, I got sick. They put me in. I got infusions, so I had to have my infusions stuck out, and that's what kept me out. They didn't believe it. They come up. The doctor said, "There he is. You want him?" I said, "No, I don't think we need him." Anyway, I had a heck of a time getting my citizen papers. Oh, if I didn't have me a time. When we first come over, we could get him in Cordell. So my dad and my mother and my older sister and my brother, they got him. So they asked about me, and they asked how old I was. So I wasn't 21 yet, you know. They said, "No, you don't. I don't need him." So it went on and went on and went on. Where World War II broke out, here they come and said, "Baisch, you got to get your citizen papers." I said, "Doggone it." So the guy ran the grocery store, but he even went up to Oklahoma City and asked if I had to have him. They said no. Said I wasn't of age. I told him I didn't know a darn thing about it. I was just as good as born here. I didn't know nothing. I got over World War II. I had to get him. So I lived down at Lindsay and just got married. Then I had to go to, what do you call it? Watonga, by golly, to get my citizen.
How come Watonga?
There's where it was. They didn't have any more in Oklahoma City. They didn't, see, they kind of messed them around, pushed them here and there, you know, you'd go. And that was the only closest place I had to go.
So what year did you get your citizenship?
42, wasn't it? 42. See,
What year did you get married?
40, 41.
No, wait a minute. 39.
Yeah,
39 was it?
39.
So year before David was born?
Yeah.
What's your wife's name?
1939.
Ruby
Jones.
Jones.
What were you doing in Lindsay?
My brother, he ran a filling station up in Oklahoma City. He bought a 80-acre down there. And he asked me if I'd go down there and work it on a half. And heck, it was a darn thing going around no place.
Did you stay down there during World War II? Or?
Well, we stayed down there a year. So then my brother, my oldest brother, and my mother and dad, they didn't get along too good anymore. So my brother took my mother and they come up here to Clinton. And they wrote me a letter and told me I had to come home and take care of Dad. So I had to come home and take care of him. So we kept him for 17 years. Dad couldn't talk to her, my wife, and she couldn't talk to him. And I'm telling you, if I didn't have me a job, boy, when I'd come home from work, I painted. I got to be a painter then. And boy, he'd catch me at the gate. Oh, he'd let me have it. I got through there, and when I got in the house, I didn't she let it. I got it a go and a coming.
What, he spoke Russian and she spoke English?
He spoke German there. And he didn't hardly talk much German when we come on. We didn't, none of us kids, well, my older sister, she could talk a little bit. All the rest of us, we didn't talk a bit of Russian.
You ever work at the Navy base out here?
Yeah, but I didn't last long, boy. I couldn't take it. It put me on the goddamn. They got me on a dumping them 100 sacks of what do you call it? Cement. I had to handle 1,000 of them three times. And boy, that cement, boy, just they first give us gloves. I got it, then they quit that. And I just couldn't take it. I quit. I start farming.
Did you go back to farming?
Yeah.
Where at?
I just rented, and then we had 13 acres of our own, and then I'd rent.
So you spent the rest of the war as a farmer?
I just welded till I got up, where I could start in, where I got in the painting business. I painted for 35 years.
What'd you do when World War II ended? The Japanese surrendered.
I think I was 4.
The big celebration that day?
No, not much. Just where they heard, they had that. We had a big. They all got together and had that banquet there in town. But they was just darn glad that it was over and everything. They wanted to go delivering again, and the boys would come home,
What'd you do in the 50s and 60s? Paint?
There's where.
What'd you paint?
Just inside and outside the house.
Was that around Clinton or Bessie?
Around Clinton and Cordell. I'd go out dealing. But the most places most of mine was around Cordell. I painted for everybody. Lawyer, doctor, rich man, beggar man. But I done pretty darn good. I learned, boy, he got in, I got in with him, I painted for him for about a year, a little bit. And he was he liked to hit the bottle. So God, he got me started on it. And shoot, we drank everything we'd make, we drank up. You know?
Oh.
I said she couldn't stand that. So I just finally broke away from him. And they always told me, they said, doggone it, they says, break away from me. He wouldn't do hardly nothing. He wasn't no good neither. So they told me, by God, break, go on your own. So I finally went on my own. God damn, I'm telling you, I was busy year round. Never was fired off a job. I'd get through with one boy. I had one or two waiting on me, and they'd wait on me too. And when I'd get through, my doctor, he was the best one. He was my doctor. He built houses. And there was some boys there in Bessie, they was carpenters. They'd build them and I'd paint them. And he doing it kept us busy. And he'd build them and he'd buy a lot of rent house, you know. He very near kept me going. But I was in the hospital, so he'd give me an operation. I had my dentin took away from me 3 times. I've had 10 operations. And now doggone my teeth, they hurt me so bad sometime. And the doggone specialist at Oklahoma City won't even tackle me. I've had 4 doctors around here and they won't tackle me.
How come?
This doggone, they said just one little, I'm messed up so bad inside. They said just one little slip and that's all. And I said, well, doggone it, Doc, I says, I gotta go sometime. Darn it, if I make it, I can get it, I can get some easy. Yeah, but he says, you could make it, but look what they could do to us. You could sue them, you know. I said, doggone it. That old specialist, he looked at me. He says, only way I'll tackle you is when it's a have to case. Yeah. I says, well, then it's too doggone late. I says, then I don't want him anymore. The doctor took him away from me twice. He helped the doctor operate on me, took my gallstones away, and I didn't have more gallstones than they did.
Got a question. Who are the big bootleggers around here?
Well, I don't think there is many now. But there where they had to ship it in, you know, and stuff. My cousin was one of the biggest ones. But she was good at it, but by golly, she had it rough. She had to take care of her dad. He was bedfast.
Yeah. I don't want to know what her name is. Won't put her name on the tape. But how would she ship it in?
Well, they'd haul it in with cars and stuff. They'd go to Texas and get it.
Bring it back in the cars?
Mm-hmm.
They ever get stopped at the border?
Oh yeah, they'd get. See where she'd have it on them. Her dad was bedfast, you know, and she just, I mean, she'd cover him up. See, they couldn't move him, you know.
she would put it in bed with them. I can remember that. I can't remember her dad too much, but I can remember her going. She had a beautiful home, and man, that place was neat and clean. Go down there and what's wrong? You know, she didn't have it out. She said, "Oh, we'll get it out." She'd come back a little while. But she put it in bed with her dad or anything that she knew that they were coming to check on the law or anything. And they tried at one time checking on her, and they moved him and searched his bed, and she sued them, and they either had to pay it back, give her all that they had confiscated from her, or pay her back. And they never did that anymore.
They never did search that bed no more.
How many kids do you have?
I got three.
How many grandkids?
Got one great,
Wait a minute. You got six grandchildren.
6 children.
See, three children, six grandchildren, and one great grandbaby. Born Monday.
In an old codger.
Yeah. Well, I would ask you what kind of mischief you got into as a child, but I don't think you had time for mischief.
Not that I have
He gets
much
into
time.
mischief in his old age.
Between chopping cotton and getting whippings, I don't think.
No, I didn't. Oh, I wasn't no angel.
About taking the eggs and selling them so you'd have a little spending money.
Heck, they never did give us no money, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we always raised a lot of chickens. So I'd always get the job gathering the eggs. So I'd always put about 4 or 5 of them under the straw, you know. When I'd get a couple of dozen, you know, I'd take them uptown and sell them. Then I'd have always, we had to put in that go to the show every Saturday. And every once in a while we'd catch a chicken, you know, and take it uptown and sell it. So we had two produces in town. So I had 2 chickens, had them in the hand. I was going by, and that one produce said, "Where are you going with them?" I always sold them to the other guy, you know. So I said, "Why don't you sell them to me?" I says, "Well, he gives me a better price." So he caught Dad and he told him about it. Oh my gosh. Come home, didn't say nothing. I kind of knowed what was wrong, and I stayed downstairs as long as I could. So he told me, "Now you get to bed." Well, I went to bed, waited till I got my clothes off, and got down here he come, had a hem strap. I mean, he laid the leather to us. Whew. We didn't sit down and eat. We stood up behind the table. Boy, and I mean, that broke it. No more stealing chickens. But I was sure glad of it too. Darn it, that broke us. We always had a neighbor, and we'd get a lot of railroad ties, you know, when they take the old ones out, and we'd go and help Dad get them. And our neighbor, he was a lazy old booger, but I don't know where he got his money from. He'd always give us around a quarter for a railroad tie. We'd carry him over a couple of them till the old man caught us. Let's stop that. But boy, we never, you know, he never did give us no money. And we did always try to make about a quarter, so we'd have a quarter a week. And, well, the shows was 10 cents, you know. And then we'd be always about 4, and we'd always have to chip in and give about 10, 15 cents for a ride up to Clinton, you know.
The movie was in Clinton?
Huh?
The movie was in Clinton?
Yeah, we didn't have no movie down there. We did have one, but they took it away. But up here they had 4 movies. And one of them was just a dime, you know. You could get in for a dime. Mm-hmm. We had to always, we had to have that show.
What was your favorite movie as a child?
Well, it didn't make much difference to me. Just thought it was a shoot 'em up Tony. What's he call him? Was my best one, Roy Rogers. I sure did like him. He was born, he was raised up down there, you know. He was I kind of like putting it all of them. Sometimes they get on one. that we didn't like too good.
I'm trying to think what else. Well, I think it was a pretty good interview.
You know, every once in a while we'd catch a ride, you know, up there in the winter time, you know. We'd catch a ride up there with an old man, and by golly, he'd run off and leave us. Golly, then we'd have to walk. Sometimes we'd get home just about time it was getting daylight. And doggone, we worked on the road. And boy, we got dressed and ate before we went to work. I'll tell you, it was rough. Where they built that road, that 183.
Yeah.
Well, they'd always made the chat to Bessie, you know, and then they'd hire us and to load the trucks, you know. And there was 4 of us, and we got 40 cents a load. And we'd always get, the more we'd, you know, if we was good, you know, we could put out one in about 20 minutes, 4 of us. And we was pretty good. They'd always come dressed because we could get them out the fastest, you know. We made pretty good money at that. There was just 4 of them better than us. There was some Cordell.
Yeah. Well, we have a good interview. Thank you.
Old man wouldn't pay me a darn penny. And then finally old Bill here, he give Dad 3 sacks a week.
This is the guy in Colorado?
No, the man that lives here, Bill.
Yeah.
But the one that in Colorado, he didn't give me nothing because their dad hired me, you know, and he lived up there. And then when he brought me back here, we asked him some money. He said I wasn't worth it. And then Dad got on him. He said no. So he got on the Bill. Bill finally give us 3 sacks a week.
You were up there 3 years.
3 darn long years.
3 years and got 3 sacks a week.
3 sacks a week.
What part of Colorado?
Denver, close to Denver.
It was right close. Well, I was about 3 miles away from Spike's Peak.
Yeah. Is that by Colorado Springs?
Yeah, right.
What was the guy's name?
Ott Borcher. He had Ott Borcher and Bill Borcher. That's the only, he had just had 2 boys.
What did you do in Colorado?
Well, he raised a lot of, what the dickens you call them now? You had to put them in the ground and then
Beets.
Beets.
Sugar beets.
Sugar beets. And then he had a lot of cattle and farmed quite a little, just alfalfa and stuff like that.
Thank you.
My name is Joe Todd. This is an interview with Mr. Rudolph Baisch in Thomas, Oklahoma. Sir, where were you born?
Russia.
What part of Russia?
Well, the only thing I can tell you is missing.
What part of Russia that is?
No, I sure don't.
When's your birthday?
1900. I was born 1909.
And what month and day?
The 9th
Of
November.
November. Who is your father?
Christian Baisch.
And your mother?
Louisa Baisch.
What was her maiden name?
Charlie, I know it, but I sure can't. No. I got it, but it won't come.
Did your parents ever tell you why they left Russia?
Yeah.
How come?
Well, Dad, that was during the war. And he was drafted 4 times already. And boy, too many people, they wanted out so bad. It was a whole bunch wanted out, you know. And they was drafted, and they'd always keep drafting them, and they were supposed to have been drafted again, and they had a chance. They left a big bunch of them out. And boy, we just, what we could get off of places, boy, we took it and we got out.
What year did you leave Russia?
Well, let's see, doggone it now, I was 4 years old when I come over here.
Around 1913?
Yeah, I think 1915. Yeah, 1915, and we come to Canada. And we there, and we come to Bessie in 1914.
Do you have any memories of Russia?
Why do you mean memories?
Do you remember anything about Russia, about life in Russia?
No, and the only thing I remember is what my parents told me.
What stories they tell you about Russia? Do you remember any stories they told you?
Well, about my operations or something like that, I can tell you a lot of them.
Yeah.
And,
Tell me about it.
well, when I was 2 years old, they took 3 feet of my intestines away from me. And the doctors here, the young doctors here, they didn't believe it, so they asked the old Doc Rogers. He told him, he says, Doc, he says, this guy's trying to tell me something, well, what they done in Russia that couldn't been done. And old Doc Rogers says, oh, yes, they're a lot smarter over there than we'll ever be. And they took 3 feet of my intestines away. And then when I got to go home, they come and got me. Well, we called them out there a hearse where they come, you know. We didn't have no cars or nothing like that. The only thing I knowed where I saw a neighbor got him a car. That was the first car that ever come out there. And I thought it was the ambulance that was coming to get me again, you know. So mother was out milking, so where I saw that, I run in the house, I was going to hide. And out there they got big brick stoves, these big brick stoves, you know. And I didn't know where to crawl to or something, so I crawled in the stove, in a big oven, you know. And it was winter time, and out there we had big gowns on. I don't know if you know how they used to dress way back there. So I caught a fire and I run outside, and my mother was milking. And the doctor says, now, if she'd have took that milk and poured it on me, it wouldn't have burnt me so bad. But she had just a big apron on. She just took that apron and throwed it around me. Where she done that, I took a big old hunk of hair out of her legs. I just bit it from her. And boy, back I went to the hospital. And then I don't know what they out there, they said I got wild meat all over my back, you know. Where she put that dress around me, it just put the fire, pressed it into me. And then they said they said it was as thick as both of my hands. They just took it and sliced it off there.
What kind of house did you have in Russia?
Well, that's one thing I sure don't. I know it wasn't much of a house. To me, it sounded like it was a kind of adobe house or something like that. But I know that my dad talked something always about they didn't have much water. The water wasn't good to drink, and he was a big grape farmer, you know. And we'd make wine, and they made cisterns, and they just filled them up with wine, you know. And that's what we had. That's what we drank. Got our water. Instead of drinking water, we had wine.
You said that your father had been drafted 4 times.
Yeah, he was drafted.
Which wars did he serve in? Do you know?
And I sure don't.
Do you remember where you got on the boat?
No, I sure don't. I know that me and my little brother, I know we got a bunch of whippings. We'd get on deck, and we weren't supposed to be on deck, and we'd always go out there. And them boats, them big ships out there, they just traveled. We just scooted along, you know. They ain't like they was there. They had big manholes, you know. And we'd lay down, and we'd lay down and watch the water boil up, and then we'd see them big fish jump up, you know. And was after us, you know. So we was trying to catch them. And the captain caught us. Boy, I mean, he got us. And I mean, he gave us a whipping. I remember that good, boy. And he took us down there, and he made us give Dad and Mama a good talking to, and he said, now you got to keep them kids out of there. And fish would come up there, and they'll pull them in, you know. They'll jump up there, they'll jump up and get us, you know.
How many people were on that ship?
Oh, gosh, they was just loaded. The ships was just loaded.
Remember anything else about the trip?
Well, then, yeah, I don't know how many times I know it took us, seemed like forever to get someplace. It was back there with a slow going, you know, burning wood and stuff like that. And then every time we changed ships, they'd give us a shot for all kinds of typhoid and stuff like that, you know. And we'd always have it all lined up, and we'd just walk along, and while we was walking, it just jabbed us in our arm, you know. Well, the third time we done that to me, my arm was sore, so I thought, well, I'll just fool him a little bit. I kind of stayed in the back, and then when it was my time to come, I start running. And when I run, he jabbed me, and he broke the needle off in me. And boy, then they had a job with me. But then all of that went all okay. Then where we come over here, you know, where this typhoid and stuff went around, my neighbor, they had a boy, he was just as old as I was, his name was Albert Nunnis. And they wouldn't, back there, you know, they wouldn't let nobody, if they had typhoid or something, you couldn't go in to see them. Well, he always wanted me to come over and play with him, you know. And the doctor said, no, he said I couldn't go. I was not, I catch it, you know. So my dad told him what they said, that was for life, or what they give us, you know. So he didn't believe me, so he took me to Cordell and they checked me, and he says he can go any place he wants to. So I was the only one that could go over there and play with him.
What about food on the trip, on the ship? What kind of food did you have?
Well, boy, the way they said it was awful. They said lice, we'd get a lot of soup. And they said lice was swimming around in that soup, and they said it was terrible. It was awful.
What did you do with the lice?
I guess we just ate the boogers. I kind of remember a little bit. I'd try to fish a lot of them out and put them around and step on them. I kind of remember just a little here and there where them lice and stuff, and then them fish and stuff. I can remember that way. I know me and my brother, we was sure on the day, boy, we run all over that ship, and we were supposed to stay down the bottom on account of waves, you know. So we'd always sneak up there.
How come your folks went to Canada?
Well, that's where we run out of money. We got to Canada, we run out of money. And he had a twin sister. He was a twin, and she got married, and they moved to Canada. And then when we got there, when we got to Canada, we went broke, so we stopped there by them, you know. And then he give us enough money so we could come to Oklahoma. So we got where we got enough money, we paid him back, and where to build the house and stuff, we paid him, you know, kind of back and all of that.
How come your folks decided to come to Oklahoma?
Well, I don't know why. That's why I don't know. I know there's where we landed in Canada on account of her sister. His sister was there, you know. And I don't know why we got as far as Bessie, and then it run out, you know, and there's where we had to kind of homestead, you know.
What are your first memories of Bessie?
Well, the first thing I really remember real good is where the World War I broke out, you know. My cousins, they moved from Canada to Bessie too, you know. That's where I guess that's where we got come. We all moved in Oklahoma, and we got to Bessie, and they got on a farm. They had little money. They bought them some farmland, you know, and they had a big family, and we had a big family. So their two boys was drafted, and I know they left. They come and stopped over to our place, and well, you know how they really took on and crying and everything was going on, you know, and it was pretty rough back there, you know, that World War I, and they was crying. They would never get to see their boys again or nothing like that, and it was pretty. It kind of hurt us all, you know.
Tell me, was there any? Did the Americans like the Germans at that time during the war?
No, they sure didn't. No, we had a rough time.
Did he speak English then?
No, we couldn't, none of us. Boy, I had the hardest time to speak. My dad never did speak it. He just wouldn't. But where he got old, where he got in the nursing home, we tried our best to get him to learn it. And he said, 9, he says, listen, Deutsch. He says, no, we're German. We're going to stay here now. And we kept telling him, we said, you'll be sorry, you better take it.
Tell me about the school. When you started the school.
Well, I'll tell you, I didn't get much schooling. There was so many of us there, you know, there was 13 of us. Well, we all had to get out to make a living, to make ends meet. Well, I was kind of like a slave, you know. When everybody, our farmers, had want help, like a kid like me, you know, I was around, I guess around 10, 12 years old at that time. Well, there was some pretty well-to-do farmers around there, you know. They had a lot of cows, milked a lot of cows and stuff. So my dad would hire me out to them, you know. So I stayed and I just worked for them. I never got no schooling. Maybe about 2 months out of the year. Well, you know, I couldn't. The kids was all up, and I was growing up. Well, they couldn't pass me. I never could go, and I'd get so big that they just passed me. You know, I wouldn't know nothing.
The first time we talked, you told me about going to school and the teacher whipping you.
Yeah, boy.
Tell me about that again.
Well, I had a hard time learning. I'd always talk German, you know. I had a hard time learning how to talk American. Well, we had a principal and his wife. She taught the lower grade, and the principal taught the high school, you know. Well, they did was the German haters, you know. They didn't like Germans at all. And I couldn't speak it well, and she didn't know. She always thought that when I'd say something, I was cussing her, you know. And I was trying to do my best. I was trying to get to her what I wanted, you know, and that I couldn't talk, or why she wanted to know that I'd just come for a few days to school, and then I'd drop out for a month or two. So I tried to get it through that way, and well, she didn't. Wouldn't go through that. So we'd always, when we'd come in school, we'd always line up. Maybe you remember. We'd line up, they'd ring the bell, and then we'd all get in a line, and the bunch would go in the first grade, we'd be in one line, and we'd go in our rooms, you know. So just as soon as I'd get inside, she'd tell me something, and I'd try to tell her as best I could. Well, she'd grab the ruler. She told me to hold up my hand, and boy, I hold my hand out, and boy, I mean, she whipped me. They just bleed. And then she'd get mad, and then she'd send me up to the principal. And he has a switcher, and I mean, he laid it to me too. Yeah. And then they went and got my dad. My dad, he was kind of rough on me. They told him a lot of stories, and it wasn't true. And, well, in German he says, "Give him good, give it to him good. If he needs it, give it to him." That's the way when I'd get hired out, you know, to the farmers. If I wouldn't do something right, or if he'd whip me hard, I'd run off and I'd come home, you know. Well, Dad had hooked up the buggy and took me back in. He told him to whip me good.
How many other students in the school were German besides you?
Oh, there was a bunch. Just about all of us was German, and that there was about everything was German in Bessie.
What about the kids that spoke English, spoke American? Did they make fun of you?
No. Oh, some of them did. What was there, but there was so many of us. We'd outdo them, and we'd fight them, you know. When they'd make fun of us, we'd fight them. And they'd make fun of us. They had a lot more better clothes than we did. We'd go to school, you know. Jay.
Always felt bad that he didn't get an education. And she came back to see me and brought some books, you know, some study books for Mother to help him to read. And learn how to read and write.
What was her name?
Do you know what that teacher's name was? You know, she come back to see me.
Yeah, I can't agree. There's something like White, Mrs. White. Yeah, I thought I'd never forget her name. I know it well. I can't think of it now.
What was the name of the school?
Well, at first they called it Shiloh. Bessie was up where we first come. Bessie was about 2 miles north. And then they couldn't get no good water or something down there, so they moved it down 2 miles. And the Indians, the old Indian woman, her name was Bessie, and they bought the land off of Bessie. That's what they called the town named Bessie. Out of her name.
What was her last name?
I sure don't know. All I know is just Bessie.
Do you remember Armistice Day? The day the war ended?
Yeah.
Tell me about that day.
Well, the only thing I can tell they really had a big blowout. Oh my, they had, in Bessie they had the band and everything, and Clinton had a big band, and Cordell, they didn't have much. They didn't associate with Bessie too good, but Clinton made friends with us pretty good, but Bessie didn't. I mean, Cordell, they didn't. It just wasn't.
On your father's farm, what chores did you have to do on the farm?
Well, he worked on a section, and he'd go and rent from a farmer. He'd rent 100 acres, and he'd put it all in cotton and feed, you know. And we'd take care of that, and then in the wintertime, we'd work. I'd have to work for him if I wasn't working for somebody else. I'd work for him for my boards, you know, just but at least he could feed, you know. That is just so much. So they'd always hire me out whoever want me, you know. And the one we hired, he had. His dad was a preacher, and they owned quite a little land, so they'd always give us they'd kind of help us out, you know. They had a lot of wood and stuff, and in the wintertime, me and my brother saw wood for kind of on half. We'd give them so much, and we'd take so much.
What kind of saw did you use?
Just a hand saw. Them good, big, long ones. I'd be on one end, he'd be on one end. We just saw.
How many pounds of cotton could you pick in one day?
Well, where I got up, I didn't remember too much, but we picked it most of it back there, and I got so I could get 300 pounds. Oh, but we had to work, and we worked too. the where snapping come in, and there's where I could really get it there.
Where was the cotton gin?
We had one there, Bessie.
Bessie?
Mm-hmm.
Who ran the gin? Do you remember?
Goodness alive. There was two of them. Golly, what his fat. His boy's name. It burned down once and they built it back up again. Well, I thought I worked there so long. I was a section man.
At the cotton gin?
Uh-huh.
What'd you do?
I run the section to set the cotton up, to go in the gin and take the seed out and make bales out of it.
How's that cotton gin powered?
What do you mean?
What runs the gin? Is it steam powered or is it run by a steam engine?
Well, back there, I don't know where we had steam engine back way back where the first one, but then where the second one burned down, then we got it run on electricity. We finally got the REA from Cordell put in the line, and they run it through Bessie, and then we all run out. We just all we just had for a long time. Now he's awful hard here now. There we didn't know what we just always we'd have lights that was kerosene and we wood stove. That's all we had for years. And water we had to dig our own. We'd have to dig our own wells and stuff for that.
How deep was the well?
Well, we had one pretty good one there where we was down the bottom. We'd go down to about 12 foot and we had water, but it was awful hard.
Was it jiffy?
Oh boy, it was sure jiffy.
How far down you have to go to get good water?
Well, I don't remember. We never did. We just went down there. We had a little acreage, and down the bottom, the water seeped in from off of the hills, and the road just got to be they couldn't use it no more. Water just kept running through there. And it got a little, where we got there, we got a little bit better water then. It tasted better first. But a lot of it we had to heat it to drink it.
When you first moved to Bessie, what kind of house did you live in?
Well, it was a barn. It was just an old regular cow barn.
Tell me about living in a barn.
Well, it's just, they had mangers where they sewed hay and stuff in there for cows and stuff, That's what we had for our beds, and that's where Dad and Ma, they slept there, where we slept on the dirt floor.
How long did you live in the barn?
I think we lived there about 2 years. And then we finally got together, and my dad's sister's husband, he was a carpenter, and then we had a couple of more carpenters. They all went together and they kind of helped, and we built this home, an 8-room house, because there were so many of us.
A frame house?
Yeah, a frame house.
Where'd you get the wood?
I sure don't remember where we got that from. I think, if I'm mistaken, we had to get it out of Cordell.
Who were some of the prominent people in Bessie at that time?
Prominent what you?
You know, the bankers, the lawyers.
Oh. Well, I can sure remember. Yeah, I can sure, but I can't remember Ike Lone was one banker, and then King. They still got a monument out over there for him. He was in the war, and he sure was good. He was a banker, a main banker. Wouldn't have been for him. He always loaned their dad some money. And when the loan had come to, well, we didn't have it, so he just carried it. And they sure, the people didn't like it for him to do that. He sure got a lot of effect for that. And Abe Schmidt, he run the elevator. And Ike Lone and Ben Keene, they was the bankers. And Minnow Johnson, he was a grocery man. And Ed Bowe's dad, he run a kind of a machine shed. And
Have a blacksmith in Bessie?
yeah, we had a good.
Who's the blacksmith?
I sure had it on the end of my tongue when I can't say it. It's good. Oh, you dog. And I can't call even the druggist what his name was. They was all good to us. And I'll be doggone what is it? Dick. What was it? I don't know his first name, but it's old man Dick.
Did they have many of the old cattle drives when you were born?
Yeah, we'd always have to drive our cattle. The farmers would have to drive their cattle from the farm. We'd have a stockyard there at Bessie, you know. And we'd have to drive them all into that stockyard, and then the train would come by. Well, when they'd ever get enough together, you know, where they could get a train load, the train would come by and come and pick them up, you know, and take them to Oklahoma City.
Tell me about driving cattle. How do you organize a cattle drive?
Well, it wasn't funny. We had some real mean bulls and mean cattle in there that kind of run away from us. Every once in a while, there wasn't too many, but coyotes and stuff would get in there, you know, and scatter them all over. Where I was, we wasn't too far. We was just had to drive 5 or 3 miles, but it took us a long time to get them there. But there was a lot of them that come from far off too, you know. And then they'd get into, they'd put them in a pen, and then they'd get to fighting, you know, and then people that get to fighting over their cattle, you know, they'd get them all mixed up and everything. Oh, it was a mess.
Did you brand your cattle?
They branded them.
Did you brand yours?
Well, I didn't have it. I worked for a farmer. I just worked. But there was 4 of them there around Bessie. They'd always get them and change brands on them. And when they'd brand, they'd get them and change their brands. there was 4 of them there. They was really cattle, and they'd really steal them and get away from them.
What was their name?
One was Bill Borcher and Arthur Dick, and one Cordell. Boy, he was a mean old booger. He had the money. He really got to them old boys. Now what in the heck was his name? And you ought to remember, ought to know it. I painted a lot for him. He was a real estate. His boys was a real estate. He was a real estate. You don't remember? He was a booger. He'd sure get their cattle. He'd steal them, boy.
What's the longest cattle drive you were on?
But the longest one was on is just from, well, when we round them up, it'd take us about 3-4 days to get them all rounded up, you know, and get them in to where we'd, and then we'd round them up, and then we'd get them together, and then we'd drive me into Bessie, we'd just go out, you know, and round. They had so many farms, you know, them guys did. We'd always just go around the bunch up, and then we'd take them into their homes, and then the next day we'd go out and round up some more, you know.
Was all this area open range at that time?
No.
Was it all fenced?
Not all of it wasn't fenced, but the biggest part of it was fenced.
When you were working on, you know, for your father and the different ranchers around, what job do you like the least? What do you hate to do on the ranch?
I hated the milk. and herd the cattle. I'd get so many. Our neighbors, they had some, and they had some bulls and everything, and the bulls would just break out, and they'd get together and fight, you know. And then I'd try to separate them and take their bull up there, and then they'd lock him up, and then she'd always give me a dill pickle for bringing the bull back. And then when I didn't get the cows home, I'd get a whipping, for I was out too late with the cows, and then we'd have to milk in the dark and stuff like that.
What breed of cattle did you have?
Well, a lot of them mixed, and a lot of them had white face, and the black Anglers was kind of the most they kind of raised around Bessie and Cordell and stuff.
Do you have any questions? Okay. Tell me some of your favorite childhood memories.
And Sherlock, now he was a big boy there. He ran a produce, and he farmed a lot and everything. He kind of kept Bessie going. He'd always have a little work for her first. He had so much. His dad was a Jew, but they took him, you know, to raise. The Jews just took him from my dad. They didn't want him, and he got to be pretty darn smart, and he's down there running the town. He was good though. We didn't get much work, and if we didn't do our day's work, he'd fire us right away.
Tell me about the big dust storms.
Oh, they were bruters. That's what I just say, boy. You couldn't see hardly your face in front of you. You couldn't see your hand in front of your face a lot. You'd have to put kind of cloths over faces.
What does the death storm look like when it's approaching?
To me, it looks like sand and stuff. You know how water will do. How water will do. That's just the way it'll kind of roll around.
How long will those death storms last?
Well, maybe I'd say the longest one about. I don't know if they wasn't too bad for about a week, but they wouldn't be so bad. But at first, for maybe a day or two, that'd be pretty bad.
What caused those death storms?
I sure don't know. I don't know what. Dry weather or something. I don't know what.
Did you all plant any shelter built around your place to break the wind?
No, we didn't. They done that later, but we didn't.
Do you do any work for WPA or CCC?
Yeah, I was in CCC camp for 7 months.
When did you join the CCC?
I think I was around about 22 where I joined. How long would that be?
Was you married then?
No, I wasn't married.
When did you join the CCC?
I joined at Cordell. We had to join, but we were sent down to Luger. There's where we were stationed.
Luger, where's that?
Down at the Lawton, you know where Lawton is? Down at Cliff.
What did you do in the CCC?
Well, it was a great big lake there. And we built roads and kind of kept the dam from breaking out when we'd have a lot of water. We put rocks on the side of the dam so it wouldn't break out or break over and build roads.
What was your job? What did you do?
Well, I was lucky. I got raided. All I had to do was drive a truck. I drove truck for a while.
What were you hauling?
We'd haul all this sand and gravel and rock and stuff, whatever, what, to build a kind of a road or build a bridge, build a place to go over, and build roads kind of up hills and stuff like that,
How many men were in that camp, that Luger?
Now, I couldn't say for sure, but to me it seemed like there was around 150 or 200 of us.
How was that camp organized? Who was the leader of the command of the camp?
Well, I sure don't know. I don't know how. I just don't know how to say it. I know how it was PWA,
Yeah.
I don't know how who run it or how it was, but
Okay, who was your immediate boss? Who did you report to?
I sure forgot it.
Now, the military, was it set up like a military organization?
In a way it was. We had to go out and get in line and go out and pick up cigarette stubs. We had to clean keep it there.
He was a camp commander. Do you remember?
No, I sure don't.
Now, was he a military man?
I'm pretty sure he had it.
And how big was the barracks that you stayed in?
Well, if I ain't mistaken, there was 8 or 12 big barracks, and there was around about 20 of us in the barracks.
Was it just big open bays?
Yeah, this big open, this big old, it's kind of thrown together barracks, you know. There's this, we'd always, in the wintertime, we'd always have a coal stoves, and we'd always have the boss that had pick one to keep the fire going one night, and we'd have to always change about. It run just about like the Army. We had to have inspection. We always had inspection and everything like that.
Did you have bunk beds?
Yeah. Yeah.
And did you take your meals and do you have a separate dining room where you ate?
Yeah, we just one great big dining room. But the big men, they kind of had it. They ate in the same building, but they had the little bit private, and they got a little bit better food than we did.
How much were you paid in CCC?
Well, we got $30 a month, but I got rated and I got 37.
37.
All that you brought with you, all that they could bring with them was what they carried in a basket. They couldn't bring anything with them.
Yeah, I know we couldn't bring nothing, just what we could carry, you know.
They had a basket with about 6 big legs.
What about a bushel basket?
You know, they handle on it. It was a broken basket. And everything, well, there were, how many of you were there that came over here? How many were in the family when you came over?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of us. 8, and then, well, 10 were with our 2 half-sisters.
But everything that, the only thing you brought with you was what was in that basket.
That's all we.
And I still have that basket in the house.
You have. And I don't remember much. We done in Albert Dale, Jack, we run around and we had too much fun out there on the deck. You know how kids are. We'd get into everything where we could. We'd get a whipping, it'd make us go down in the basement, down below, and when nobody was looking, we'd go and get after.
Where did you sleep on the ship? Do you remember?
I sure don't remember. I know it wasn't pleasant. It sure was rough. It was a rough go.
And how long did you say you were in the CCs?
I was in there down at Fort Lugard, 7 months, and then I transferred and got up here to Clinton, and I stayed in Clinton 2 months, and I got out.
What did you do at Clinton?
Well, they mostly built shelter buildings in Clinton.
Okay. Tell me about planting the shelter belt?
Well, I don't know much about it. I didn't get to grow out much of that. They kind of kept me always right around inside, and I had to keep the yard cleaned up. All I done is just go out and help plant grass.
Now, was the Clinton camp and the legal camp about the same thing? Legal camp?
Yeah,
they both about the same?
Yeah, it was all the same. Only thing, they built shelter belts where we built roads and stuff down there.
Tell me about, what did you do during World War II?
Well, I farmed. I got married in 40.
Where'd you meet your wife?
On a farm. They was John Rainbow. That's the old boy what I was trying to tell you about all them cattle. And my wife's dad worked for John Rainbow. He took care of a lot of his cattle and stuff, and farm and stuff. He owned a lot of stuff. He was about the biggest one in Cordell. But he said went.
What was your wife's name?
Ruby Jones.
Ruby Jones. And you got married in 1940?
And where we first come over, we had to get citizen papers. Well, my dad and my oldest brother and my older sisters, they had to take them. So they asked if I had to take them, and they said no. I was too small. I didn't know nothing about it. So it went on until I got old enough to vote. Ben Kirshner, he was another good guy now. He run the grocery store. He was going to be sure because it was pretty strict, for citizen papers. We had to have citizen papers, He was going to be sure because they were sure hard on us if we'd vote and we wasn't no citizens. So he made a couple of trips. So he went to Clinton, Cordell, and went to Oklahoma City. They said I was okay. And by golly, when the war broke out, by golly, I had to get my citizen paper. Boy, did I have me a job to do.
Tell me about it.
And I got married, and we moved. We was moving down there. We was at Lindsay. My brother had a farm down there, and we moved down there, and farmed his land. So I had to go from Lindsay way to Watonga to get my citizen papers. So where I got, and I could have got them out there at Bessie, and it wouldn't have cost me nothing. This way, where the war broke out, by golly, I had to have them.
How come you had to go to Watonga?
Because all the other stations went out of business. They shifted them around, One was Clinton had it, and Cordell, and with there, they kind of had them all taken care of, And the Tonga still had theirs.
Did you have any trouble getting them?
Oh, did I have any trouble. If it wouldn't have been for Ben Keene, he wouldn't have given it to me. Lord, he was a smart aleck. And the judge, boy, he got so mad at him. He said, well, you know, I could put you, you know, I could send you down the river for life, for voting, registering and voting, and an alien. You know, you ain't allowed that. And the judge left him talking. And Dan Kirshner, he done a lot of talking. He helped. If it wouldn't have been for him, I wouldn't have got him. So he just kept on, boy, he really raked me over the coals. He says, when he got through, the judge says, well, are you through? He says, yes. He says, I'm through, but he says, I'm not signing him up. He said, now you can do what you want to, but I'm not going to have a thing to say. I'm going to see that he don't get him. I don't know why, but I registered and voted. And Ben Keene told him all what happened and everything. Well, he said that didn't spell that. So he just got up and left. The judge says, smart aleck, he says, come on in. He wrote me out and said some papers and told me to go on home for good about it.
What year was that?
That was 1940.
Did you have to have citizenship papers to get married?
No, I done had them then. No, I didn't either. I don't know how many papers I got that I didn't have to have no citizenship. I'll be doing the final. I just don't remember how I got by there. Well, see, where the World War II broke out, see, that's what hurt me so bad. I was in A1 shape. I was ready to be shipped out. Well, I had infusions, so I was in the hospital. Doc Rogers was working on me. And by God, they didn't bleed me. They thought I was ready to ship out. They didn't bleed me. They had to come up and see. Doc said, there he is. Said, you want him? And he said he wouldn't be no good to us. He wouldn't be no good to us later. That kind of a shape. That's what kept me out. Oh, it's more and more I could say, but that's it.
After they got married, they did, they went back to Bessie and he took care of his dad.
You say your dad never learned to speak English?
Never did. He sure wished he would have, where he got old, you know, where they put him in a nursing home. Well, we got him over at Corn in the nursing home. Well, that is all German. He done good there, you know. So I was taking care of him. Well, I was already starting to have a family. I had her and a boy already. And I was always sickly too in pain, and I was having a pretty hard time making ends meet too, you know.
Hi, Smiley. His dad lived to be 102.
102.
He's pretty close.
What's that?
I've done that a lot.
What's that?
Getting skunk. Let a skunk pee on me, and so the teacher sent me home. Because, you know, I was so far behind in school, I couldn't get nothing out of it. When I'd go to school where I was little, she'd whip me so hard, and then principal with me so hard. And then I'd go back in there and then she'd make me go and stand in the corner. I never got no, and she couldn't figure out, she said I was cheating. All I could do is, I remember I took spelling. I could make that, you know. But now, the way I done that, I took it just as they come, you know. The dog, cat, sheep, or something like that. I just go right down the line and spell them, you know. Well, where I went to school, they couldn't figure out how I done that, you know. They thought I was copying it off of the, so the teacher come down there and she watched how I done it, you know. So so she stood there and she just shook her head. She said she couldn't understand how I could do it. I could spell it, but I didn't know the name. I didn't know what the word was. And like with the cattle dry and hogs now, if we run it, yeah, I done that. No, I painted for 35 years. And I painted for everything from the lawyer to the crook to the cheater or preacher or never, and I always could come back. And I couldn't read the labels on the paint. If it was green or something, I wouldn't know it. Only way they couldn't figure out how I'd do that, they'd buy it from me and I'd tell them, I'd sit, the glue would go in this room, you know. I'd take my glue and I'd sit in the rooms where it's supposed to go, and that's where I had to go through life. And I never did make a mistake or nothing. I've painted for 35 years and I never got fired or one.
Were there any bootleggers around Bessie?
Boy, that is about all there was. They all had their wine year round, wine and beer, not very much whiskey. But wine and beer, but you hardly ever seen get drunk or get in to there. Hardly ever.
They made it mainly for their own use?
We made it, we kept it the year round. Where we could afford it, you know.
I'll call that a bootleg.
But they did have some that made whiskey or white lightning to sell.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
was
oh
some
yeah.
guys who were in there that sold,
Oh yeah,
they sold their beer and
we had a lot of them.
Who was the biggest bootlegger in the area?
Well, the biggest one around Bessie was, lived right from us, up there on the hill. Oh, golly, I know you know him. He'd always run off, you know, first batch, you know, they'd always run off 2 batches. The first batch was turning good, you know, and then the second batch, well, that wasn't so good. So he'd always sell the last batch first, and then keep the first batch. He'd get more money for that. Oh, what in the world! I thought I'd never forget it. I know it as well as I do my own name. But he really sold it.
Do you have a good recipe for wine or beer?
Yeah, good one.
What is?
Well, what do you mean now?
I mean, what ingredients do you use?
Oh, well, we made it out of mostly in the raisins and raisins and grapes. When wild grapes would come on, you know, boy, I mean to tell you, we'd get us some wild grapes and tame grapes. Boy, would that make it kick, boy, them wild, boy, it had to kick. And good, boy, it was good.
How many grapes would it take?
Well, we'd always buy about 4 bushels to make, we'd make right around 4 bushels of grapes, and then maybe we'd go out and get us about a bushel or 2 wild grapes. We'd make around 100 gallons.
How much sugar would that take?
About 200. We'd buy it in 100-pound sack, 2 sacks.
So you have the grape, sugar, and what else?
Grape, sugar, and we'd let it ferment. You know, we had to keep it in a warm place and keep it there about 3-4 days. And there's a lot of work to it.
Did you have a fruit press? Is that
No.
what you used?
Our feet were Man, I hated it so much. We'd have to wash our hands, wash our feet good, and then we'd have to get in there and all out. Then we'd kind of quit that, and then we'd use our hands. We never did have to get it there one night. We just rolled up our sleeves, and all us kids, we'd have to go together, and we'd just go to squeezing and squeeze it. Some of us we'd be picking the green ones from the, you know, the more green ones you get in, the sour it gets.
What would you let the wine ferment in? Or store it in?
In 150-gallon barrels.
What, wood?
Mm-hmm.
How long would you let that sit?
Well, it was always around about a week, a little over a week. Just depends on the kind of the weather and stuff and how much sugar we put in. You know.
And was it ready to drink?
Mm-hmm. And the longer it set, the stronger it gets. But you had to. We'd leave it sit in the barrel, you know, and we'd have to keep it smashing down. We'd have to keep it in there about a week, and then we'd drain it off into another barrel, you know, and then let it cook for about 2-3 weeks before it quit. That we could close it up, you know, let it just keep it cooking, you know, and let it cook all what was left, what we couldn't drain out, let it cook, and when it cooked, it'd go over the barrel, you know, and we'd catch it in the bottom of the barrel. There's a lot of work to this stuff, but it was sure good.
Well, do you have any?
They made their own home brew too.
Home brew.
You bet. My wife could sure make it, and she never drank a drop.
How do you make home brew?
Let's see. With what was
Malt
it?
liquor.
Malt, and sugar.
Water.
Malt. Well, it's small. I'd buy a can of malt and 10 pounds of sugar, and then I'd make 10. Well, I'd buy about 12 pounds of sugar, and then I'd always make about 10 gallons of beer. and I'd let that ferment, leave it sit about 3 days, and then it kind of quit cooking, because if you bottle it too quick, boy, I mean, she'd blow up.
They had a kerosene lamp, had an iron chair. They had the bottom out of it, and they put the top on top of that iron chair, and the kerosene lamp underneath it. That was the
You gotta keep it so warm, you know. If it's cold, it takes it so much. The warmer you get it, you can't get it too warm. You get it just so warm, and it'll cook off faster, you know. But if it's cold, it'll take longer. It'll take it about a week.
What'd you bottle it in? What'd you put it in? What kind of bottle?
Well, just a regular beer bottle, and I got it. They wasn't fast enough. I put some in half a gallon, and they couldn't take the pressure, boy. I mean, they'd blow up on me, golly.
Did you have a bottle capper?
Oh, gosh, yeah. Yeah, I wore out 3, 4 of them. You bet. That's all. But I never did. I'd get tongue-tied, but I never did get drunk on it. I'd sure feel good, but I never did get, when I'd come home, I'd work 8 hours, I'd paint. When I'd get home, I had a few acres, farms. I'd change clothes, and I'd drink about two bottles. And then when I'd start up my tractor, I'd drink about 2 more, and then I'd go out and plow. And then I'd make about 2, 3 bottles, and my wife, she'd stand out there, and when I do like this, she'd bring me up a bottle.
Did you start farming with a walking plow?
You doggone tootin'. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. 13 acres I had to walk behind us.
How long did it take to plow 13 acres?
Oh, golly. It just depends on what kind of horse we had. And depends on how we felt,
Mm-hmm. What were the best horses to use for plowing?
Mules was the best
Mules
we
were
had,
the best.
but we'd always have horses.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them they wasn't worth a darn, and some of them was darn good. Bulky, boy.
On a good day, how many acres could you plow?
I'd have to put in a doggone good hard day to get an acre plowed.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to really go after 2.
In those days, what was your main crop?
Cotton.
Cotton.
Mm-hmm. We had a little bottom. We raised corn until the boerworm got in it. And then we put it in feed. And then the birds during it always ate us up there too.
When you raised cotton, how many bales would you get to the acre?
Well, I never was lucky. I had always a bale and a half would be my best. And doggone it, the luck, and I don't know how I worked it. I really worked it, and then I got so I couldn't work it no more, so I rented it out. And that doggone guy, the first year, he made 2 bales to the acre off of it.
What was he doing that you weren't doing?
I'll be doggone if I know not done it.
fertilizer part.
No, he didn't fertilize. We didn't have no fertilizer. I'll be doggone, he didn't work it near as much as I did. I was surprised at him.
What kind of cotton were you raising? What was the name of it?
I sure couldn't tell you. I know it, but I can't.
Do they have Egyptian cotton at that time?
And what?
Egyptian cotton that has the long cotton.
Not around
Oh,
here.
okay. And where'd you get your cotton seed?
See, we bought it always off of it. We saved our own seed mostly. We always mostly saved our own seed.
So you got it when the cotton was ginned, you saved your own
Yeah,
seed.
we saved our own. When we take a bale of cotton, I'd always save about 200-300 pounds of it.
And how many acres would that plant?
Well, I'd always put about a bushel, about 100 pounds to an acre.
Well, do you have it here? Anything? What's your name?
Anna Hughes.
Anna Hughes. Anna Hughes. And you're his daughter.
Her dad's name was Hugh, and her mother's name was Anna.
My grandmother.
Yeah, yeah. So that's where we got it. We named it after her grandpa and grandma.
Well, Mr. Baisch, I guess that's it. Anything else you have?
Well, I guess I could say talk about it's all a lot more come to me just like. No, it's been rough, by golly. I just had 13 operations already. And then my wife, she got heart trouble. If I wasn't in the hospital, she was.
How many kids do you have?
3.
3?
2 boys and
How many grandkids?
9, ain't we? And 2 great grand. Well, they are.
Okay, well, Mr. Baisch, I want to thank you.
That tough. I went out to old Bill Borch's old man took me to Colorado, and I worked up there for his boy 3 years. And when I got home, he always tried to run off from me. He didn't want to pay my way home, you know. And I'd always have to, I'd tag him along. When we got to the Bessie, he got off on one side, the train, I got off on the other side of the train. That was all that was ever said. Never did say nothing, never did tell Dad how much I owed him or boo or nothing. So Dad told his boy one day, he says, "Don't you think my boy ought to get a little something out of 3 years' work?" Well, he said, "He didn't work for me." He says, "I ain't got nothing." Did the old man? He said, "No, the old man ain't paying. He ain't gonna pay nothing." Well, he says, "I'll give you 3 sacks a week." So I got 3 sacks a week. I mean, I worked out there.
3 years work.
3 years work.
What part of Colorado was that in?
Well, the closest I remember, we was 40 miles from Spike's Peak. So I don't know. I never did get to go to town. They never did.
Up there by Colorado Springs?
Some place around
Telephone line 1.
Yeah.
Lorraine, telephone line 1.
I never got to go no place. I was always taking care of something, plowing or chopping wood or hunting cattle and scooping snowball. We had in blizzards out there.
You ever consider going to California in the 30s? You know, when all the Okies went to California?
I went out there and picked grapes.
You did?
I worked out there for about a month.
When did you go to California?
I'm going to find out just when that was. That was in the 40s.
How'd you travel?
With a T model car. Oh, it's a church.
Did you go by yourself?
No, I went with the family. There's an old boy, him and his wife, and they had 2 little boys. They had a car, and I had a buddy. We made it so we'd buy the gas, and then when we'd get out there, we'd go 50-50 on the grocery bill. We'd help pay for him and his wife and the 2 kids. We'd split it 3 ways, buy the groceries. And she'd cook for us like that. And that's the way we...
What did you take to California with you?
We didn't take nothing. We just our clothes is all we took.
And how many people were in the Model T?
And there was 4 growing-up ones and them 2 little boys. They was around 12, 15 years old apiece.
And what part of California did you go to?
Gridley.
Where?
Gridley.
And you say you picked grapes out there?
Mm-hmm.
Did you live in a camp out there in California?
No. He had he wasn't a Mexican. I forget. There aren't many of them around really. I forget what their names are. He had a kind of an old shack, and he left us stay in that old shack. I really went out there to pick cotton. I heard so much about cotton. It was good and stuff. I thought, well, boy, I can make a killing, 'cause I could. And they had that darn light, long staple cotton. I'd pick and I'd pick and I'd pick, and I'd get a great big sack full, and I'd take it to the scale, and I'd be lucky if I could get the 50. It'd be 50 pounds in a sack. One day, and the next day we went back and I cut grapes.
What kind of grapes were they? The Concord?
Concords.
Mm-hmm. And what made you, how come you went to California? What was the main reason? Was that the cotton?
That's the reason there wasn't no work around here, and we went down. We worked out there, by golly, and we come home. We had around $40 apiece. We was out there over a month.
What made you decide to come back to Oklahoma?
Well, the grapes run out. See, all the grapes and everything, cotton run out. Well, there wasn't nothing for us to do no more, so we had to come back home.
Did you come back for the Model T?
Mm-hmm. Come back in the old Model T.
Yeah.
And then my brother-in-law, he was, where the beacon lights come in. You remember them? Where we had beacon lights?
The beacon lights.
Beacon lights, all over the state.
Oh.
We had the beacon lights,
Okay.
One of my sisters married, sisters married brothers. He worked for the government. He took care of the beacon light. And we'd go out there once in a while and stay with him, and he'd have something for me to do, He'd pay me pretty good. The government paid pretty good, tearing down a beacon light or something like that.
Was that part of that WPA program?
Mm-hmm. No, that's regular. That's just regular Army, regular.
Okay. When you went to California, how long did it take to get out there, the Model T?
It took us 7 days with the Model T.
7 days back to?
Mm-hmm.
Coming back crossing the desert.
Oh, Lord, that was rough. Oh, it was sure rough. We'd have to get we'd get water and we'd pour it on the floorboard and keep our feet wet and stuff. It was rough. And that old tea model that gets so hot, we'd have to stop every once in a while and let it cool off. And them little boogers, they'd be so wild, we'd have to run them down. We had more trouble. Oh boy, it was a rough sledding. And going uphill, we had a little old trailer. We had our kind of our bedding and stuff, you know, we took along. And we'd have to get out and help push the darn T-model up the hill. Oh man, it wasn't a T-model, a model.
Well, it's easy going down the hill though.
Oh yeah, boy, it's going down more we closer down. But that going uphill, boy.
Well, I think we have enough. Anything?
Well,
Okay.
I guess I think I talked to you about the death anyway.
No, we have almost 2 hours.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.